Hey y'all, it's Dr. Jada, and I just wanted to do a follow-up video to my appearance on Mornings on Merritt Street. And if you're not familiar with it, Merritt Street Media is Dr. Phil's new production company. And so for the last couple of weeks, I've had the pleasure of just hopping over there and doing different segments. But the segment today, I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth because this just happens to be Stress Awareness Month. And we've been talking a lot about stress, a lot about emotional management, um, a lot about how do you deal with anger management issues and all the things. And so this morning had the pleasure of talking to Dominique over at Mornings on Merit. And so she asked some really great questions. And one of the questions was, well, let me give you some backstory. Let me back up. So the topic that we discussed was about Zen rooms or Zen Dens, or I like to call it the tranquility room. I actually have one here at my house, and I mean, you can set it up however you want it, but it has to be something that allows you to get back to baseline. So what does that mean? It simply means you can be at work, and as you are working, somebody says something, and all of a sudden you feel a sting right here in the center of your chest. And once you feel that swell, that sting, that makes you kind of gasp, you have a decision to make. And that decision is, are you going to, and I like to say, pop off? Probably not the most intelligent definition of becoming emotionally hijacked and anger stepping forward and overtaking your entire body. And then you say things and do things that will eventually come back and bite you in the butt later. But I joke around a lot because, I've always said that I have the potential to just pop off here or there. Or, I've labeled myself as the pop off queen, but I have to be careful in labeling myself that because I've worked hard over many, 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 many years to not pop off. And it's real simple. Um, it's really just emotional management. It's owning your emotions in the moment. It's self-regulation, and it's being able to make decisions that will benefit you in the long run. And for me, what that has been is recognizing that I have so much power in recognizing what happens intrinsically versus being overstimulated extrinsically and doing things that ultimately are not going to be beneficial. And so Dominique, she asked a question and she said, is it beneficial? Is it beneficial for companies to spend money and pour into creating these Zen dens, or again, these tranquility rooms or these mindfulness rooms? I like to call it a prayer and meditation room, but creating the space, allowing the space to bring you back, I say, to baseline. And here's my thought on that. First of all, it's not necessarily anyone's responsibility other than the individual to manage emotions. So I just want to, from that premise, I just want to say it's nobody's responsibility to help us manage our emotions. That's absolutely ridiculous. It is our responsibility because we have to take personal and individual responsibility for how we feel, regardless of what another person might do. We get to determine how we react. We get to determine how we respond. We get to determine whether or not we pop off, right? That's my word. You're going to pop off or you're not going to pop off. Well, I spent a lot of years popping off and doing, the whole thing. And it's just not beneficial. And it's not really Christ-like. So, there's a point where you mature and you recognize that you have awareness, and that awareness is being able to say, this is really making me mad right now. Let me see how I'm going to deal with it. Okay. And then you can actually use executive functioning to reason through the information and the data that you've acquired so that you're able to determine, yeah, no, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it getting into an argument with this person. It's not worth it going back and forth and never coming to a resolution. So we had this conversation this morning, and one of the things that I discussed with Dominique is that it's important to recognize that we have primary and secondary emotions. And when we're talking about anger management, we're talking about controlling a secondary emotion. And we have to remember those secondary emotions are the emotions that protect us. They're the emotions that keep people off of us. They're the emotions that signal to everything around us to back up. Because if you don't back up, it's going to go wrong real quick. So, and we don't want that. So when you recognize that you're angry, and again, I call it the little sting that happens right there in the center of the heart. At least that's where mine happens. It's like this swelling, this sting, and it's like, whew, okay, wait a minute. What are we going to do here? How are we going to fix this? Because without acknowledging what's going on, having the awareness, then it's acknowledging, okay, this is happening. And then sometimes it's just sitting in it, owning it. But if it's anger that comes up, anger, frustration, irritation, annoyance, all of those are secondary emotions. So that's here. Under here, there's all sorts of emotions that we don't like people to know that we're experiencing. Like, I feel hurt. I feel envious. Oh, I feel a little jealous, right? I feel a little jealous right now. Or I feel incompetent. I feel rejection. So there are all of these real mushy emotions beneath the surface of those secondary emotions. So remember, right here, we have the anger, we're annoyed, we're frustrated, we're irritated. We're all of those and that keeps people away. It's like, get back. Yeah, don't come this way. Don't even think about it. Then we have those primary emotions. When we are courageous enough to address the primary emotions, then and only then are we able to begin the very long journey of self-regulation. And emotional regulation allows us to sit in the emotion, define what it is, recognize it, and then gain a strategy and plan to deal with it. And so that's just my recap for the Zen rooms, because I don't believe that it's a company's responsibility to do anything for us to manage our emotions or for us to manage our anger. I think someone said, what can companies do, or what can corporations do for their employees to help them manage anger? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. However, you can provide the resources for people who are already on a journey to doing their own work and managing their emotions and coming to a place of recognizing that, hey, this is my responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility to pat me on the head and say, it's okay, I know you're angry. Go to your Zen Den and figure out how to manage your emotion. And then when you're ready, you can come back to work. Negative. However, if you are actively working on yourself and doing the work, and you just need a minute to just pull away, get back to baseline, because sometimes you can become a little flustered during the day. But the caveat is you've been doing your own work. So you're just going to go into the Zen Den or into the prayer and meditation room, and you're going to say a little prayer. You're going to do some deep breathing, because remember, when you breathe in through your nose, oxygen is released to the brain, and then the brain automatically signals to the rest of the body to relax. And when you do that, you are in control. You're not being controlled by external factors. And so mindfulness, meditation and prayer, acknowledgement that it's okay to feel certain emotions and we don't have to pop off just because we feel uncomfortable. But we learn to manage our emotions. We sit in the emotions. We listen to what the emotion is telling us. And then we proceed from there. So I hope that was helpful for you. Like I said, I had an amazing time on Mornings on Merritt Street this morning, and I'm going to try and keep these summaries or these reviews going after I finish the segment. So I want you to hit the like button, comment if you can relate. If you are a pop-off king or queen, I want to know that too. I want to know what you think about this content and if there's anything that you want to hear expounded on or explained as it relates to the world of psychology and counseling psychology and managing emotions and understanding thought processes, all the things. I'd love to hear from you. So I'll see you in the next video.